Right, here we are at the Pontcysyllte Aqueduct, built by Thomas Telford in Trevor, just over the border into Wales, I think we are. And this is the canal basin where they park up the boats. There's a map here showing the actual aqueduct, Pontcysyllte Aqueduct.
Hey.
And there's Sam.
Hello.
And he's on his way. We're going round, having a look at everything. And there's a lot of boats parked up. So obviously parked up here waiting for day trips or whatever they do. I don't think there's a great deal goes on here, but there's one or two bits and pieces to look at, and we'll be going over the aqueduct shortly. We'll just head down this way and see what we can see. We're out on another little adventure along the Sunday afternoon. It's a bit cold in October 22nd or 25th, I'm not quite sure what day it is, but the winter's well and truly on its way now. It's getting very chilly. The girls and Sam are all got their winter woolies on, and we're heading in to the start of the aqueduct.
These are all the big boats.
Yeah, there's all the big boats, as Sam has just said, all parked up. Doesn't seem to be anybody working on them at all. And we're just beginning to see the start of the aqueduct. So we'll just walk along this little path close by the aqueduct, and whether we'll get a very good view of it. It's very famous. It's been here, oh, I don't know, 200 years or so. I can't think exactly when it was built. You'd have to look that up. There's another little bay here. I don't know, it's a swing bridge going over the aqueduct.
The bridge is wobbly.
It's a bit wobbly, yeah. It's just about wide enough for canal boats to go on. This is where boats would park up. There's one there, a little cafe boat parked up. And then this little bridge opens to let them in. There's another entrance in over there from another canal. And it goes obviously up into the Shropshire Union Canal, presumably. There's another picture of it from underneath to give you some idea of what it looks like from underneath. But we won't see it like that because we're on top of it. There's all sorts of signs. Yeah, I don't know what that is. A big hand. I don't know what the idea of that is. Some sort of sculpture. There's one or two sculptures about. What that one all means, I don't know. It's made up of old bricks and bits and pieces. There's bits of iron and bits of all sorts of bits in there. Bits of hooks and bolts and all sorts of things. Bricks, spanners. It's made of all sorts. It's quite interesting. Somebody's cleverly put that together. And on we go. Onto the top of the aqueduct. There is quite a few people here. So I'll just walk along quietly. As quiet as I ever am. I'm talking all the time, but it's amazing to think that this aqueduct, made out of sections of steel, like a tank, all bolted together and riveted, and the joints are actually made with cotton material, I believe. Cotton material and pitch, and then just jointed together. And amazingly, it doesn't leak, and hasn't leaked. Now you can see quite well there how it's built and how far down it goes, right down into the valley. It's a huge height, but each section is made out of square cast iron pieces bolted together, and the joints, so they don't leak, it's just got pitch and hessian and wool, I believe. I think they might have used wool as well. And it's got a footpath on the one side which we're walking across, but on the other side it's just got the edge of the tank. And so that, when you're going over it in a boat, I should think it's pretty scary that you know, to see the height of the bridge itself is quite frightening, I would think. I'm not very good with heights, but it's a good view, and in the distance down there you can see the railway bridge at another little 3 miles away, I think it is. Another bridge over the valley, but that's a railway bridge, and that's at Tymara Country Park, and you've got the river going underneath. I think it's whether it's the River Dee. What is the name of this river? Do we know? Yeah, it is the River Dee. I thought it was flowing beneath. It's quite a distance down to it, and there's a lot of water in it because it's winter time and it's flooded. And certainly very interesting. Sam's hanging on. He obviously thinks he's going to fall in, but I don't think he will. I thought that was a penny, but it's a number 2 sticker on there. I thought it was a penny. There's a view down the River Dee. The light's not terribly good. It's a bit overcast and dark, but we are in October, so there's not a lot of sun about. November. Oh, you're quite right. It is November. Grandad's got the date wrong. It's not October. It's about the 22nd of November. Nearly Christmas is coming. Well, not only coming, but there's a boat coming along over the canal, over the bridge. And there's the treacherous water of the Dee flowing underneath. And then you can see the other railway bridge at Tymara in the distance there. And the bridge, they're only allowed to go at 4 miles an hour, these canal boats. That's like the speed limit on the canal, because obviously they're big boats, and if they were to ram into one another going at any sort of speed, it would be a terrible disaster. But as you can see, it's very tight. I mean, there's not much room between the actual canal boat and the edge of the water. I mean, the boat just about fits in. It's very tight. So when you're stood on the boat and looking down, it's almost as if you're right floating in the air, which must be very scary, sitting on the boat going over. Another little view of the river down there, dark and mysterious. Here comes the boat, soon be coming. We'll just wait here and watch it go by. It's got its Christmas decorations up because, as you say, it's November and almost just a month now to a few weeks till Christmas. Little boy on the boat going through, and the boat goes passing by very silently. Can hardly hear the engine going, but obviously pretty scary to go across on the boat, as there's not a lot of space. There it goes. The engine just pushing it along as it sets off on its way across the bridge, or the aqueduct. That says Aqueduct Cruises on the back of that, so obviously they're a local firm that takes people out on a cruise. How much it costs, I don't know. But they're all having lots of fun taking pictures. Sam's raced on ahead, so I better scoot along now and catch up with them. I don't know as in all this time they've ever drained it or ever had a leak. I mean, it must have had a leak at some time, but no, not in my knowledge has it ever leaked. And you can still see, if you look very carefully, the joints between the metal. I mean, it's not very thick. Not very thick metal. And the joints between, amazing to think they're just pitch and linen, I believe they used. But if you look it up in Thomas Telford built this bridge and designed it, an engineer, world famous Telford, the engineer who built this wonderful aqueduct. probably 200 years ago. And here it is, still standing, being used every day by sightseers and travellers as they go across the bridge. We're pretty high up, several hundred feet I should think above the river. And that's the aqueduct. Well, my hands are getting pretty cold. I might switch on again at the other end of the aqueduct and take a little bit more. Then we'll walk right over. Might do a little bit more filming at the other end. But my hands are getting cold holding this camera. But the sun's trying to break through, shining into the lens. There's the other train bridge. And I'll look round at Trevor and back along the canal bridge. And I might do another little bit just to finish off this video in good time. But we've been 11 minutes or so now, so that'll do for now. Right, just here on the edge of the other end of the canal, I can just take a little bit of the view of the bridge itself, and here there's a little monument telling you all about when it was built. Thomas Telford, 1795, constructed in 1805, when it was commissioned as part of the Ellesmere Canal system. So that's been put there to tell you all about it. And the little walkways, I'll catch up with the girls in a minute. Just want to have another look along the canal just to show what it looks like from the other end. Here's another little structure we've come to, and it shows miners' picks all set into the rock. Looks as if there was other things set in, but somebody's pinched those. There may have been hammers. There's a hammer down there. Church, castle, something, limestone. So this is built of limestone. There's a funny little cart on railway lines, a couple of picks set into the tracks. And it's an old wagon on a bit of railway line. Makes like an interesting little sculpture on the side of the canal. Well, there's another little canal basin. And it says hot food and drinks and toilets, so hopefully we can get over there. Ah, I can see a bridge coming up, so we're on our way. Right, we're just approaching another interesting little thing on the canal. Sometimes they have these walkover bridges which are actually cantilevered, and what it's got is this great big gantry with a weight on the end. Got 28 there on it, 1990, and what it does, it lifts up this little footbridge. You can still go over the canal on that footbridge when the butt is up, but so that the canal boats can come through, this part lifts up. Very interesting bit of engineering. You can still go over on the bridge walking, but that actually goes down and lets the canal boat through. So it's another interesting little structure along the canal. Right, we're heading back now towards the cafe, and presumably we'll get a cup of tea.